What if Scream 7 takes place at the same time as Scream 6? Let's talk a little bit about that.
Hello, Sydney.
I don't know. What if it did? Welcome to the KillJoy Jake YouTube channel. If your name is Kevin Williamson, happy birthday. Yes, today is the Scream 7 director, Kevin Williamson's birthday, because that's definitely what he's the most known for. For those who missed Tuesday's update, there is a lot to talk about in the world of Scream now. It's no more just rumors and BS. No, we actually have something pretty concrete. Neve Campbell is back as Sidney Prescott. Kevin Williamson, the creator of the franchise, will be directing the upcoming installments, and Guy Busick is writing this one solo with a story from both James Vanderbilt and Guy, who wrote the previous two outings. Now that we actually have something concrete about Scream 7, as well as a cast member, we have something to go off of, which means the theories are gonna get more intricate, like today's theory. During my last live stream, many people were asking, what if Scream 7 takes place at the same time as Scream 6? And the more I thought about it, the more I realized that solves a bunch of problems with the Scream 7 narrative. The next entry in the beloved slasher franchise basically has to do two things. Write out the core four in a way that doesn't feel shitty, and tell a Sidney story that doesn't feel repetitive of something that's already been told in the past. I mean, my god, the majority of this franchise is a Sidney story. We gotta come up with something original here. Now, if Scream 7 were to take place at the same time as Scream 6, that would be a really creative way to write out the core four. They're literally in New York City doing all of that stuff we saw last March. This also lends itself to a very unique Sidney story, because as we learned from Gale Weathers in that film, she went someplace safe with the rest of her family. Let's roll that clip real quick.
I talked to Sydney.
She's not coming here, is she?
No. She sends her love, but she's taking Mark and the kids someplace safe. She deserves to have her happy ending.
So you can essentially make Scream 7 about Sidney and her family going out to this safe place. Let's say it's a cabin in the woods, some kind of safe house, secluded from the rest of civilization. She goes out there to hide out because she hears about a ghost face in New York City, and then finds out that maybe in her hometown, there's a ghost face running around that she has to stop. There's an undoubtable connection to Scream 3 there, the idea of her hiding out somewhere and then having to go into the city to stop this ghost face. It is kind of the same thing, but it's a little different considering the situation. Sidney Prescott wasn't a mother in Scream 3, for instance. I apologize for sounding like a broken record, but you can still make this story inventive, new, and different as long as you focus on the fact that Sidney's a mom now protecting her family versus protecting just herself. That's a whole new dynamic that can fuel a brand new story. And then if you have a ghost face motive that isn't just familial revenge, you'll definitely be different enough. Are you guys hearing me? Guy Busick, please listen up, dude. I swear to God, if another Prescott family member ends up being Ghostface, I'm gonna lose my mind. With this theory, there are of course both pros and cons. Pros being all the things that I literally just said. You come up with creative ways to write out the core four that doesn't feel like you're smearing shit in the younger fans' faces. And then also Sidney Prescott's story will be something inventive, original, and not repetitive. But there is a major con to this theory that makes me think that Spyglass wouldn't want to pursue this kind of story. That is of course not being able to use too many other legacy characters, because Gale Weathers and Kirby Reed are literally in New York City at the same time that this would be happening. It just wouldn't make any sense. Also, both Gale Weathers and Kirby Reed were viciously attacked in the previous entry, so there's no way they could be in Scream 7 if they try to approach the story in this similar manner.
Tell Sydney, he never got me.
This might be hyperbole, but I would go so far as to say that this theory is debunked, because I think Spyglass is going to get as many legacy characters jam-packed into this movie as humanly possible. Now, if you guys have been watching this page for a while, you know that I'm just not the biggest fan of that. One of my biggest critiques of Scream 6 is how nostalgia-fueled it was. The shrine scene was egregious in the last film, in my opinion, just because it was sucking its own dick so damn hard. We get it, everybody likes the Scream franchise, even itself. So me personally, I really don't want another film that's going to be nostalgia fueled and that's going to be up front and center the entire movie, basically. I feel like it's something that's almost inevitable, because I think Spyglass is going to do everything in their power to sugarcoat this bad boy, even if it is just a turd at the end of the day. Why is that? Well, Spyglass is under a lot of fire right now. Pretty much every hour of every single day since November of last year, or should I say Melissa's firing, somebody on Twitter has said Spyglass is spy ass, or, you know, something similar to that. An unfortunate response from Spyglass is probably going to to be making this film seem irresistible. So that means bringing in as many legacy characters as humanly possible, even if it doesn't make sense with the story. Something else that got brought up on my live stream this past Tuesday was the idea of Stu Macher coming back from the dead, which I know is something that some fans hear and they're like, why would they ever do that? No fucking way. But here's the thing, the majority of movie decisions don't happen because, oh, it's the best idea for the narrative nowadays. It's all about that money. And some of you might have heard of a little popular horror movie called Five Nights at Freddy's that starred Matthew Lillard in it. Narrative-wise, I think bringing back a killer who was previously dead would absolutely kill this franchise. You heard me, absolutely kill this franchise. But I wouldn't be surprised if Scream 7 brought back Matthew Lillard because they need to sugarcoat their turd. Did I say that? And every Scream fan would need to see that, love that idea or hate it. Hell, I hate the idea and I would need to check that out. And if Spyglass does end up doing that, Matthew Lillard's in the movie, word gets out about that, some of the Five Nights at Freddy's fans will totally show up to that movie. I guarantee you that if they were to do something like that, Scream 7 could be the most profitable film of the Spyglass entries. It would destroy the franchise, but it would make Spyglass a lot of money, which is probably their only goal at the moment. I think there is a line with the legacy characters, though, that even Spyglass won't cross. Like, we have Jerry O'Connell talking about bringing Derek back to life in a brand new Instagram comment. Like, that's probably not gonna happen. But a lot of fans have been talking about bringing Stu back to life because he's their favorite Ghostface. I'm guessing here, but I would also say that for the majority of fans, Stu is probably the favorite Ghostface out of all 14 of them. And yeah, you heard me, 14. Your boy counts Jason and Greg, even if one of those characters was only ever introduced to us as a pile of meat in a refrigerator. But even beyond that, I think the biggest reason why Scream 7 won't try to make itself take place at the same time as 6 is because whatever the Scream 7 script was before Melissa Barrera got fired, it has since been changed, yes, but I don't think it's going to be too much different, which is the biggest problem I think with this entire production. The news that came to us on Tuesday was exciting. Sidney Prescott is back, Kevin Williamson is directing, but the writing element of this has me incredibly worried. We learned from that cover page that Nev Campbell posted on Tuesday that just Guy Busick will be writing this one. James Vanderbilt has dropped out. Why is that? It specifically says story by James Vanderbilt and Guy Busick, which leads me to believe that this was based off of the story that they wrote together that would focus on the core four, but now has been rewritten by Guy Busick to focus on Sidney Prescott. That screams a big ol' nasty mess in my opinion. We're gonna try to have the same story elements that were supposed to be told through the core four now pushed into a Sidney story, which I just don't think is gonna work. This franchise also has a bad history with rewrites, Scream 3 being a living example. Love that film or hate it for how completely different it is from the rest of the franchise, it was a mess during production. So much so to the point where the rewrites actually made it to the script. One of the characters complains about that in movie.
Has there been another goddamn rewrite? How the fuck are we supposed to learn our lines when there's a new script every 15 minutes?
I really hope that's not the case with Scream 7, but it seems like it just might be. So will Scream 7 take place at the same time as Scream 6? Probably not. I think that would work against Spyglass's ultimate plan for this film, which is to make it nostalgia-fueled. Come see this and relive your childhood. Ugh. I hope that they're able to tell a good Sidney story here, because like I've said many times in the past, I think there is at least one more really good Sidney Prescott story to tell, with her being a mother, yada yada yada. Kinda already went over that in this video. But I just don't know if this movie is going to be good as of right now. I'm predicting this is going to be one I rank towards the bottom. 9 times out of 10, big production issues like this can kill movies. It's very unfortunate, but also very true. What do you guys think about Scream 7 though? Will it take place at the same time as 6? Will it be a good story, something worth our time that focuses on Sidney Prescott, or nah? Leave me something about it in the comments below. Thank you all so much for watching this brand new Scream 7 theory. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more horror movie content in the future. Please consider supporting me on Patreon by clicking that link in the description below. And as always, don't forget to kill it out there, y'all.